In previous episodes, we talked about quantum joy, quantum love, quantum forgiveness, and quantum gratitude. These emotions are experienced by our soul as the avenue through which we as spirit beings understand the physical world we descend into. When we descend into the physical plane that is a denser vibration of frequency of relative changing reality, man becomes a living soul with thoughts, emotions, free will with which to have dominion over the physical world. As divine spirit beings from the absolute higher vibrational frequency reality of light, love, joy, peace, and abundance, these high vibrational frequencies and information is our soul, with which we experience this physical plane, either having dominion over the material plane with our thoughts, emotions, and choices when we choose to be love and joy, or how the world can have dominion over us when we are lost within the lower vibrational frequencies of fear, worry, and doubt. It is not as if we are controlling the outer world. The world is not a force that operates separately or against us. It is always working with us, responding to the energies we emit of our thoughts, emotions, choices, and actions. It's all about alignment. Ever wondered what happens to our soul with all its unfinished businesses of limiting thoughts, emotions, and choices when the breath of life, the spirit, leaves the physical body and returns to the higher realms and the body goes back to the red rustic earth? Some part of us exists throughout our entire lifetime. We aren't human. Our body is. Our body is a possession of ours. The real us is not our body. We are something greater than a human. We are a soul living in a human form currently. We think we are human, but that is the first surface level of reality. Our body is just our body. It's not who we really are. Since we are in a human body, we are not the human. Let this thing sink into our awareness, or we resonate with it. We are a human. We are not the human. Our experience, our physical existence, who we are. This is just a temporary vessel or something far greater, for something far greater. When we say I, we are pointing to something timeless, ageless, that awareness, that consciousness, and that soul. We aren't pointing to us as flesh and bones, thoughts and emotions. We don't say, I am body. We say, my body. The word soul is a powerful word that almost is mysterious. Soul is energy. Soul is spiritual. And according to Rabbi Simon Jacobsovs, when we leave the world as spirit beings and the body returns to dust, something shifts. What is that force that shifts when the body dies and the spirit goes back to the spirit world? When we interact with friends, who is interacting? Right now, as I'm talking to you and you are listening, who is talking and who is listening? Is it your physical body or is it your soul that is listening? Is it my physical body that is talking or it is my soul that is interacting? You can see my face, and we see people's face when we talk to them, and we hear their voice. It's more than just physical interaction. Between two bodies, there is a personality involved. There is a vibe that is involved. There is an experience that transcends time and space. Think about someone a million miles away and there is a connection. All that goes under what we call soul connection. We are connecting right now with our souls. Everything in existence has a body and a soul. For example, the soul of a table is its function. when we use it to have a meal. Our books, letters, and words are the body, but the message that is conveyed when we read the book is the soul of that book. The musical notes we listen to or we compose. We have a body, and this body is a vehicle, it is a channel. What is being conveyed through this body is our soul, the intention, the purpose, and the deeper calling. The deeper soul of a human being is our life's purpose, our mission in life, the why. The body, which is the vehicle, is the how. When we are in touch with our soul, we are in touch with our core essence. Not in touch with soul, our lives are driven by circumstances. Think about it right now. When we see ourselves as the body, our lives are driven by circumstances. The soul is everlasting. The soul is eternal. The soul lives forever somewhere. And our greatest fear is not death of the physical body. Our greatest fear is fear of the soul with its unfinished business, all that is recorded and stored in it. What happens to the unfinished business in the thoughts, the unfinished business in the emotions, is what we are afraid of when our soul leaves the body with unfinished business. Imagine the soul as an electromagnetic nature of information stored in space and time throughout all our entire lifetime, created by every thought that we think, every belief, every emotion we feel, every word, every choice, every action, and every intention. How can we be mindful of whatever we think and whatever we say? Because whatever we think and say and do is recorded and it is stored as quantum information within our soul. And when the body departs and the spirit goes back to the spirit realm, this soul lives forever somewhere, tormented by the thoughts, the emotions, and the actions it did. Imagine a vast cosmic library that holds the blueprint of every soul, past lives, present experiences, and future experience. A library storing every record of that has ever been done, that has ever been experienced, that has ever been thought, that has ever been felt, and every question ever asked that receives its answer. We have a record of every experience of our soul stored in the cosmic library. I will repeat that. We have a record of every activity experienced by our soul stored in the cosmic library. We choose to rewrite it when we take command of our soul with compassionate solidarity, collaboration, and unplug crime and conflict by thoughts, emotions, and radical action that bring peace to the world. And when we take command of our soul, we can be able to influence situations, wars, wildfires, freezing cold, the flooding, the earthquakes, the economic breakdown and starvation. The soul connects all things. As an individual soul is linked to the vast cosmos, experiencing the deep interconnectedness to all, our soul is part of a larger cosmic consciousness from which we receive guidance by its subtle messages and signs. Let's ask ourselves this question right now. What is the soul made of? What information is stored in the soul? And where is the information in the soul kept? We've briefly looked at that, but let's go deeper now. The soul or psyche comprises of the mental abilities of a living being, of our thoughts, our emotions, free will, conscience, and consciousness. The soul is the place where consciousness, motivation, desires, needs reside and memories are stored. The soul is where sensation and perception and our habitual way of processing experiences, that basic awareness of the physical body world resides. The soul is the essence of one's existence, determining every aspect of life. The soul gives meaning and purpose to life. The soul continues its journey when the physical body retires. It is eternal, it is unlimited in spite of the limitation of the physical body. The soul as a quantum field can have profound implications for our understanding of consciousness, death, and life. One may connect with and communicate with and affect other souls remotely. The soul is immaterial and it defies the laws of physics. Because the soul operates on the laws of quantum physics and subatomic particles behave weirdly. Our soul, the very core of our existence, can be explained not just by spirituality, but also by quantum physics. Our souls are contained inside the brain's microtubules. The structure of our soul is cords. The seat of the soul is in the pineal gland or the heart, and others believe it is present in every cell and every inch of the body. Our souls are contained inside microtubules within the neurons, where quantum activity occurs and quantum information is kept. The soul is quantum energy. The soul is the content of information carried in a person's quantum vibrational field. Therefore, as our soul is a quantum field. The soul is a type of quantum information stored in a quantum field. And the structure of the soul is cords. Our personal soul structure coding is full of information that will allow us to develop free will along with a personality colored by our parents, extended family and friends, the talents and skills of our ancestors, past associates, and past lives. The result of such a lot of information is that it must be stored in the soul body. Before we take on the body, we are intrinsic knowledge of our soul coding. And where do our thoughts come from? According to Eckhart Tolle, every experience we go through elicits the thinking we will think about the situation we've gone through. However, there is a collective mind. Many thoughts are not our thoughts. They arise from the collective mind. Because thoughts are energetic fields or energetic entities that float around. If the thought from the collective mind discovers any resonance with anything inside of us, like irritation, that thought form will hook onto our irritation and it becomes bigger. We are not separate. We are connected with everything and everybody. We connect with the cosmic mind and it moves through us, and we are far more than our own individual minds. When we look at our content for today, subcontent number 1 is experiencing the soul communicating with us. Content number 2, the soul's mission, living a soul-driven life. And content number 3 on our table of contents, the soul transcends boundaries of death. How do we experience the soul communicating to us? Our soul speaks to us all the time. Do we hear it? The language of the soul is intuition, the still small voice or a gut feeling. The soul communicates with us in a variety of ways, including through moods, feelings, dreams, meditation, and prayer. It communicates to us through symbols, metaphors, archetypes, poetry, art, paint, music, mystical imagination, seeing the sacredness in all of life. The soul communicates to us through nature, the inner voice, a strong and sudden knowing from within of what the answer is, an internal push or compulsion. The soul communicates to us when we feel a strong urge to do something that otherwise we wouldn't be doing. Has this ever happened to you? The soul communicates to us through stories and experiences we have while sleeping. It sends us messages in form of dreams. We listen to the soul with awareness and presence in the now quiet still moment, especially when we are journaling. It's one thing to talk about the soul, but it is another thing to experience it for ourselves. Experience is the key to everything. Have you ever experienced your soul talking to you? Our soul is talking to us all the time. And everything can be identified with our sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, especially soulful matters. You might be walking down the street and the first sign you see in a newspaper by the roadside is communicating something to you. You switch on a TV station and the word that touches you is communicating to you directly. We've got to feel it and acknowledge it and connect to it and feel the flow of the soul, because it is a rhythm, it is a pulse, it is a light field. One of the most powerful spiritual practices is to learn how our own field, our own energy that surrounds our body, that is within our body, how it communicates to us. And that starts with simply closing your eyes and doing the simple thing and just imagining there is a field of light all around you. And you are the body in the middle of this field of light that contains everything and all things and all entities. Many people knew and they know that we have a soul pulsating in our physical body, but few are aware the soul is always communicating to us. Our soul does not have words to communicate with. Instead, it makes itself noticeable via our feelings, because feelings are the switching points between the soul and the physical body. And the soul communicates via corresponding modes that result from the feelings. Throughout your day to day, you may have so many different modes depending on what you see, depending on what you hear, depending on what you taste and touch. By external stimuli we receive through the five senses, our soul responds via feelings and expresses itself in corresponding modes. When we are either in a positive or negative mood, these modes come as messages from our soul via our feelings. And that's the message from our soul. A dream can also convey moods to our subconscious mind and conscious mind. In mood, the messages of the day come to us. Our feelings convey to us in moods the messages of the day. When we wake up in the morning with an uneasy feeling in our solar plexus, in the pit of our stomach, that is a wake-up call from our soul that something needs attention. Our souls are connected to the cosmos, and the cosmos is always communicating to us. Have you ever burst out into tears for no apparent reason? This is the soft voice of the soul, carving out and crying out for attention, asking to be nourished with much care as we nourish the physical body. All of us have voices, expressions that manifest themselves in our lives, and it is our soul speaking to us. An existential cry from a deeper part of ourselves. Have you ever experienced a sacred moment where, in spite of the constant turmoil of life, you have felt a sense of awe and belonging? This too is the voice of our soul expressing a deep satisfaction with its intrinsic connection to the force of spirituality. There are other voices. Anxiety is the voice of our soul feeling frustrated, and something is out of sync. Every expression we have coming from within, whether it is positive or negative, is the soul talking to us. The body speaks to us through hunger pangs, fatigue, aching, and muscles, telling us to do something about it. The soul also speaks to us in a language much more emotional. Have you been listening to your soul communicating to you? Content number 2, the soul's mission, living a soul-driven life. The purpose of life is nothing but development only through the journey of the soul. Our soul is going through a journey. The life form that has no identity. It's awaiting an entity, an entry into the worldly life. In our lives, knowing our soul, living a soul-centric life instead of a body-centric life is looking with the eyes of purpose, a deeper meaning of our calling, our unique signature. We feel ourselves from within, but we aren't accustomed to that. A body-centric life looks from the outside. It looks at our appearance, how others see us, how pleasing we are to others. That is body-centric. It is not soul-centric. Soul-centric thinking is a sense of self oozing from within, an extension of that looking from the soul's essence. We are the soul of wherever we go. When we focus on our inner, it is easier to focus on everybody else's inner. The soul of a human being is the flame of the Creator. And the soul is transcendent in nature, and it is always seeking to grow within. From today, can we consider being soul-centric instead of body-centric? That is the soul's mission. Living a soul-driven life, not a body-driven life. Subtopic number 3, the soul transcends boundaries of life and death. The reality of the world we perceive is described by 2 completely different laws. There is the classical physics, and there is the quantum physics of the unseen, of the metaphysical. The reality of the world we perceive is described by these two different laws. There is our everyday world where objects are predictable, and there is the quantum world where particles can behave like waves. Imagine these two worlds. Which world are we living in? We need to be able to find a balance between the two worlds. Ever given any thoughts to where we go when we pass? There is an energetic realm where the history of our soul is stored. Soul has a drawer in a file cabinet within which the folders representing every experience each soul has had, everything that was said, everything that was done, and thoughts in that lifetime is recorded in that folder. The soul is an extension of the mind, where the idea is that there is some core continuity in space and time. Life after death, the soul continues as quantum information. Quantum physics found proof that humans have an immortal soul. There is life after the death of the physical body. Consciousness, which is all of the info stored throughout our lifetime inside our soul, occurs at the subatomic quanta level, inside the brain and in the fundamental level of the cosmos, with all the information of thoughts, emotions, words, and actions, operating in the realm where time does not exist and energy is never destroyed. Our soul is never destroyed. Our soul lives forever somewhere. Right now, as we come to the end of this presentation, sit quietly, feel the energy of your soul. What thoughts are you thinking right now? What thoughts have been disturbing your consciousness right now? If the spirit, the breath of life, were to leave the physical body right now, what unfinished business are in the thoughts you are thinking? What emotions have you been feeling this morning? Worry, stress, anxiety, fear, doubt? How can we be aware of our thoughts and our emotions and our choices and our actions in each and every moment, so that every time we are able to make peace with whatever it is that is in our thoughts, so that we can always be ready to have a soul that has less and less unfinished business within it. Gently open your eyes. I hope this presentation has been helpful to you to understand that our soul lives forever somewhere, to understand that we are not the body, to understand that our soul lives forever somewhere. And where our soul lives after the physical death of the physical body is determined by every thought we think, every emotion we feel, and every choice and word and action that we do. Have a blessed day. Namaste. Bless you. Thank you.